In our first video, we talked about what is franchising. We discussed things like the FTC's legal definition of franchising, what you actually receive when you become a franchise owner, why franchising gives buyers a head start that independent business owners don't have, and how to know if franchise ownership is the right path for you. Now, in this next video, we're going to take the next step in the process. This one is all about franchising versus starting a business, and it's an honest comparison. If you're trying to decide between buying a franchise or starting something from scratch, this is the comparison that actually matters. I'm going to show you what each path really gives you and what it takes off your plate so you can make this decision with real clarity, which is the number one and most important thing for your best path forward. In this video, we're going to cover what a franchise system actually provides that building from scratch doesn't, how franchise support shows up in the hardest, earliest months of a new business, the real appeal of independent ownership, and what it actually costs most first-time owners, why most people end up better off with a tested system than total creative freedom. Watch this full video to learn everything about these aspects of things. In the next video, we have a whole bunch of exciting things, but let's just dive right into it right now. So if you're weighing whether to buy a franchise or start something completely on your own, this is the video to watch. I'm going to walk you through what each path actually gives you, not the sales pitch, just a clear version and a look at the differences. So we're going to go through 3 searches. It's going to take just a few minutes, but I want to make sure that you have a lot of clarity around this. Okay, cool. So first things first here. Franchising versus starting a business from scratch. And we're just going to type this in right here. What is the difference between, actually, no, let's do it like this. Let's just say something simple. Franchising versus starting a business from scratch. So obviously you're going to see the AI definition and all kinds of stuff below here. Lots of opinions on the topic, but I searched franchising versus starting a business from scratch. And this lays out the core difference pretty clearly. When you start independently, you're building everything yourself. The brand, the systems, the marketing, the supplier relationships, all of it from ground zero. When you buy a franchise, you're stepping into a system that already exists and already works. Neither one is automatically better. They're just different starting points. Independent ownership gives you total creative control if that's what you want. You can change anything, anytime, for any reason. But a franchise gives you a tested playbook. You're operating inside the brand system. The real question isn't which one is smarter, it's which one matches how you actually want to spend your time. Do you want to spend your first year building everything from the ground up, or running the business inside systems that have already been built and proven? That's the big question that you want to look at. Now, the next thing here is what a franchise system provides new business owners. So let's just go back to our handy dandy friend Google. Say what a franchise system provides new business owners. Goodness gracious. All right. So again, you're going to see some stuff. You're going to see the AI overview. A franchise system provides new business owners with a turnkey business in a box. And there's a number of other things when you drop it down on here, as well as all kinds of different resources that you're going to see all the way to the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, which oversees and governs franchising, which is always, a valuable source because it's rooted in that. With that being said, though, what a franchise system provides new business owners. So I searched that up, and this is where the real value shows up. A franchise system gives you training before you open. It gives you a brand people already recognize, so you're not introducing yourself to the market from literally nothing, right? So if you remember my previous example, if you're opening, I think it was Ron's Gym. If you're opening Ron's Gym, that's great. But man, you're just starting with Ron, right? If you're opening Orange Theory, somebody at least knows about it. And granted, I'm not telling you one way versus the other. I want to make sure that this is educational and important for you and what makes sense for you. But at the same time, there's just a difference between starting something just from the total ground up and then stepping into something that's already built out. So you're not introducing yourself to the market from nothing. It gives you supplier relationships already negotiated. It gives you a marketing engine that runs whether you're actively working on it or not. Think about everything that goes wrong in somebody's first year of an independent business. Wrong pricing, inefficient operations, marketing that doesn't convert. A lot of those mistakes have already been made and solved for inside a good franchise system. You're not avoiding every single risk, obviously, but you are skipping a lot of the most expensive lessons. And that's really the trade that you're making. You give up some creative freedom. That's true. And in exchange, you get a system that's already been tested by people before you. Now, the caveat with it is this, and it's just honest and it's important to say it. Not all franchise systems are created equal, okay? And this is where a really strong franchise consultant who lives and operates with integrity and ethics is really going to help you understand that. Now, I want to say this, and it's not going to make everybody happy. There are a lot of really, really sketchy and scammy franchise sales organizations, franchise consultants, and everything. And the reason why they do a lot of those things is because at the end of the day, they want to get a deal pushed through as quickly as possible. Why do they want to do this? Because they're getting commission. They're getting paid. The more deals that they move and the faster they move those things through, the more that they get paid, the faster they get paid, and the more that they can continue building and getting more, right? That's simple as it gets. And there's a lot of other factors behind it, but that is really the simplest thing. A good consultant understands you, though. They understand who you are, what drives you, what your goals are, what you have financially, what your vision is, what your dream is, all these components, the liquid capital that you're bringing to the table, all of these components that you really need to know and understand if you're going to make a purchase of a franchise. They get to know those things and they say, does this brand make sense for you? And do you make sense for this brand? Because keep in mind, within a franchise system, it's a partnership. It's not you out there slugging away trying to build something from the ground up. They need you to execute and do what you say that you're going to do. And you need them to make sure that they're doing the same. And when those things work together, you have a powerful, strong system that grows and builds into something magical. But if that is not in place, it's very, very difficult. There's a lot of problems with it. Okay. More things to come on that in future videos. I digress there, but let's dive into search number 3, which is really about the advantages of independent business ownership, which is also important to look at. Okay. So let's just talk about, type in the advantages of independent business ownership. Good Lord. Hey, don't worry. You're getting to see my super, super great spelling skills here. I'm like crushing it. We're going to leave this in here. I'm not going to edit it out. These are raw, real, honest, folks. Okay. All right. So I searched advantages of independent business ownership because this matters and it's worth being honest about. Full control over your brand. That goes without saying. No royalties cutting into your margin. That's also true. No operating standards that you have to follow. If you want to pivot the business in a new direction 5 years from now, nothing is stopping you. One thing I do want to add on that is sometimes people think if they buy, and I said this in the last video, but sometimes people think if they buy into a franchise, they can't pivot at any point in time, meaning like they can't go to an exit and then start a new business. You can do that, and that is an important thing. And there is something to be said about once you set a strong direction, being consistent in that path, because the more that you try to change the model and change the business, creates a lot of tarnishes the brand. Right. So I'll pause on that and go on. But, that sounds appealing on paper. I'll just say that. So it sounds really appealing on paper to have the control, that level of control. And for a small number of people who've already run a business before and know exactly what they're doing, it is genuinely a better fit. If you've done it before, if you built every single one of those things, it is genuinely a better fit. Now, some people don't want to do it a second time. They did it the first time and that was enough. And they don't want to do it certainly in a new style or new type of business, right? Because you will see people saying like, hey, you know what? Maybe I built a commercial roofing company and now I want to get into restaurant ownership. Those are totally different models. Just because you understood the departments and the trajectory of roofing, it goes without saying, you obviously don't understand that exactly within the restaurant space. And so sometimes those people might elect to sell something that they built independently and then buy into a franchise because they don't want to redo that or whatever it is, a med spa or whatever, right? But here's what a quick search like this doesn't show you. And I think this is really important. Most of that freedom ends up getting spent on things that a franchise system already solves for you. Figure out pricing through trial and error, building marketing that actually converts, learning what works the hard way instead of starting with what already works. For most first-time business owners, that blank page costs a lot more time and money than people are going to expect. And it certainly is true, even if in my other example, if you own a business and you're getting into a new space, it's a lot of learning curve, right? It's like you're starting something from scratch. So the honest answer is independent business ownership is real freedom for a small slice of people. For most people exploring business ownership for the first time, a tested system ends up being worth more than the freedom they thought that they wanted. And that's important for you to think through and to decide. And if you need to consult with somebody, obviously our team can help you with that. It's important to really think through and decide as you're considering this. So there we are with that. The next video looks at the third option some people consider: buying an existing independent business instead of starting one or franchising. It looks like the simple shortcut: skip the building phase, buy something that already works. I'll show you what that path actually involves. And if you want to talk through which path makes sense for you, talk with my team, reach out to us directly, go to unitlockfranchising.com, fill out a form. More than happy to correspond through comments here too. Would love to be able to discuss it more with you. At the end of the day, what we're looking to do with this channel is to inform people in the most honest possible way. Whether you're a franchisor or a franchisee candidate, or somebody who's just wondering, should I move forward with the business or should I not move forward with the business? What are the pros and cons? What we're here for is to help. Not to sell, but to help. So we're so thankful that you showed up today, so thankful that you watched the video, and we look forward to continuing our journey as we move ahead.